around the world, please welcome the Fantastic Four.
What do the Incredibles, the X-Men, and Batman and all his sidekicks have in common? Behind the battles, the supersuits, and heroics, these teams have described themselves as a family. But none of them could call themselves the first. That title can only be given to the first family of comics, the Fantastic Four. Since 1961, Mr. Fantastic, the Invisible Woman, the Human Torch, and the Thing have all shown the way in how family can be the ultimate hero power-up. And they were doing this decades before the Fast and the Furious turned it into a meme.
I don't have friends, I got family.
But their togetherness is more than just plot armor. In fact, it's something you can use for yourself in your classroom. Rise up, GG Nation, because it's time for Guidance Guy Friday, your digital guidance lesson from your internet school counselor. And today, we're going to take a multiverse jump to Earth 828 to see how your classroom can have the same kind of teamwork, connection, and even love that the FF have. Ready to see how? Let's go! It's guidance time!
Earth's superstars, superheroes are in for the battle of their lives.
What I'm going to do in this video is, instead of focusing too much on the story of Fantastic Four First Steps, I want to spend our time on the characters of the first family of Earth so that you can see which character is most like you. So yeah, there will be minor spoilers for First Steps if you haven't seen it yet, but nothing that will ruin it for you. So don't go too crazy on the spoilers in the comments, okay? Also, be open-minded about this. If you're a guy, don't get all in your feelings because you know in your soul that you're like the Invisible Woman. Being all like, come on bro, I can't be like her, I ain't no chick bro. No one is saying that you are literally that character, just that you have some things in common with them, and that's okay. Never mind the fact that Susan Storm is hands down the most powerful on the squad, but I'm gonna mind my own business and just leave it at that. Now let's get to it, and I'm gonna start with Mr. Fantastic himself, Reed Richards. The first role that he plays is as the leader. Now I want to make sure we set some things straight when we're talking about being a leader. A lot of people either see a leader as this amazing people person with god-tier levels of riz who everyone follows, or a power-hungry monster who bosses everybody around. And while those examples are types of leaders, being the person in charge isn't an either-or situation, and Mr. Fantastic proves that. The other three do follow his lead, but he's also proactive, which means he tries to fix problems before they become problems. Like when he found out that his wife was pregnant, he made sure that his kid wasn't impacted by the cosmic rays that transformed him and his friends. And because he looks ahead and makes a plan, people listen to him when he talks because they know he means business. Also, for those of you who saw First Steps, you know that Mr. Fantastic is not the most charismatic, super charming member of the Double F. This ain't Tony Stark snarking the bad guy and posing behind explosions. He's not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
And that's okay, actually. If you're the kind of person who people listen to when you talk and you know how to get people to work together, but you're not the most popular person or you might even be on the shy side, guess what? You're still a leader. But that's not all when it comes to Elastaman. He's also the brains of the group. Granted, all of the Fantastic Four are really smart. They're all scientists after all. Reed is on another level. And that might be you. Are you a straight A or mostly A student? Are you in the gifted program? Are you the one that everyone wants on their team for cahoots and blookets? Then this man might connect with you. Richards is also a planner. It fits with his leadership skills. When Galactus was threatening Earth, everyone looked to Stretchy Man to come up with a plan because he was able to figure out what would work, what wouldn't work, and why. This could be you if you're the kind of person who has a plan B or even a plan C just in case. Or if you're one of those students who actually uses their planner.
What did he say?
But there's actually one more thing to add when talking about the original Rubber Band Man. For those of you who watched First Steps, perhaps you noticed that Reed Richards seemed a bit different. Not in a bad way, but did you notice that he didn't really get excited about much? Or that he was so logical that it could come off as being brutally honest or rude? And again, he was not the guy spinning one-liners like every other MCU character. What was going on with that? Although it's not said in the movie, there's a good chance that Reed Richards is neurodivergent.
What do you mean by that?
Which is just science talk for someone whose brain works differently than others. That doesn't mean that a neurodivergent person's brain is broken or sick, it just works differently. And neurodiversity can look like different things. It can mean having autism, a learning disability like dyslexia. Even those with ADD or ADHD count under this description. Again, being neurodivergent doesn't mean that you're dumb or that you can't do nothing. Cause look at Mr. Fantastic. The man is a genius who was able to change the world with his intellect and protect the world with his abilities. So who says you can't make a difference? And that's it for Reed. Next up, let's turn up the heat with the Human Torch. My boy Johnny Storm sometimes gets a bad rap. A lot of people just see him as the pretty boy, a dumb jock who doesn't really add much and is just along for the ride. But that couldn't be further from the truth. So instead of continuing the Torch slander and treating him like he's Marvel's version of Yamcha, oh my god, let's see how he adds to the team and how you might see yourself in him. And I'm gonna start with the thing that makes people disrespect him. The fact that he's an entertainer. Whether it's in the comics or in the many attempts to make an actually good Fantastic Four movie, especially this one. Bro, how do you fumble the bag when you have Michael B. Jordan in your movie? You can bet money that the Human Torch is gonna be the first one cracking jokes and turning a life-threatening situation into open mic night at the comedy club. Looking at your situation, you could be the one making jokes all the time, but it's not limited to that. Do you love making music? Do you hum or sing along? Are you that kid that has to be told to stop banging out your drum solos on your desk? Do you enjoy acting? Then there's something you can add to your class. You just need to be careful about when you do your thing. During a lesson? Nope. Not the best time. But during recess, lunch, or free time? You already know. Just make sure your jokes aren't aimed at other classmates or make them feel less than. I mean, that's not really the best way to make your classroom feel like a family, is it? Johnny's other quality is that he's a people person. He likes to be around people, and people like being around him. He's popular, talkative, and friendly. And like Johnny, you might feel like you get a bad rap in class because people say you talk too much or you don't know how to get serious. If that's not the case, then don't worry about them. But if you know that you struggle with knowing when to tighten up,
do you really know how to play the game? Then tighten up!
Then just ask yourself, is now the right time? If your comment or quip isn't related to the topic, makes fun of someone else, or you're not allowed to talk at the moment, then just keep it in. But know that every group needs that someone that makes everybody laugh. And if that's you, you play an important role in your class. Just remember the wise words of the great Uncle Ben.
With great power comes great responsibility.
What time is it, Ben? No. What time is it, Ben? No, Johnny.
Ben Grimm, the Thing. I love what the MCU did with him in First Steps, because what tends to happen to the Clobbered Man in these stories is that he spends all his time being depressed about being turned into one of the rock trolls from Frozen.
You can fix this fixer-upper up with a little bit of love.
But here, he's had 4 years to process the massive change in his life, and he's actually adapting to it really well. In fact, instead of spending the whole movie moping about his own problems, he becomes the heart of his team. In First Steps, there's a lot going on. Reed and Susan are having a baby. Then they have that baby. Then the whole world might be coming to an end because of that baby.
You know what I'm saying? That's tough.
And how does he respond? He checks in with his best friend Richards to make sure he's not losing his mind trying to find a plan for every little thing about his son. He tries his best to keep things at the Baxter building as normal as humanly possible given the utterly superhuman madness that's going down. And his ability to see other people's needs and try to meet them is so underrated. Anyone who's had a friend who was there for them during a hard time knows how clutch this is. And if this sounds like you, know that your ability to know when someone is feeling stressed or sad and taking the time to talk to them to make them feel better is so important. Not just in the classroom, but anywhere. And it even has a name. Emotional intelligence. Just like how Reed is the intellectual powerhouse of the Fantastic Four, Grimm is the emotional powerhouse. Understanding when to reach out to people and when not to, knowing when to talk and when to listen, makes you very powerful in tough times, and it will serve you very well in the future. It might even make you a great counselor one day. Think about it.
He wanted us to be together because that's what family is. It's about fighting for something bigger than yourself. It's about connecting to something bigger than yourself.
Last but definitely not least, Susan Storm, the Invisible Woman. Like I said earlier, she's the most powerful of the group. And when it comes to her people skills, she's right up there too. In First Steps, she's not just a hero, but also a master negotiator, able to help people who disagree come to an agreement. She was able to stop a villain who was trying to sink New York City into the ground Underminer style, not by beating him into submission, but by understanding his legit concerns and working to respect his needs. And that alliance ends up playing a major role at the end of the movie. Looking in the real world, this could be you if you're able to help friends who are in a drama make up and be friends again, or if you're able to chill an argument between people before it gets too far. You know what I'm talking about. If this is you, then you have a great amount of empathy. Empathy is the ability to know how someone would feel in a situation, even if you yourself aren't in it. And in a world where most people are only able to think about themselves, you are special in ways that you may not even know. And that's it for our fantastic crew. I know, that was a lot, but let's do a quick check-in. Which character are you vibing with right now? Let me know in the comment section and see if anyone else feels the same way you do.
Could you take us through how you defeated Galactus?
Well, what does he want?
What did he ask?
By now, you should have some idea of who you are in your class. But let's say you have some questions, so let's tackle some of them. Perhaps you're wondering, how do I get better at my role? Whether you see yourself as a leader, the negotiator, or the entertainer, there's always a way to get better. The big thing is perhaps a little cliche, but it still works. Practice, practice, practice.
We talking about practice.
The only thing is, be careful how you train. Cause I'm not a big believer in practice makes perfect. Cause if your practice is trash, when game time comes, your performance is also gonna be trash. To make sure that you're practicing well, make sure you ask for help. Look for people who are great leaders or those who can be funny without getting in trouble. Don't feel like you have to figure this out by yourself. Rely on the team that's around you. But let's say your question is, how do I do my thing in the classroom? Every day in school are opportunities for you to meet the needs of those around you. Whenever something comes up, ask yourself, how can I help? For example, say a classmate slips and falls on a wet spot on the floor. How can you help? If you're like the Thing or the Invisible Woman, you could ask if they're okay and ask your teacher if you could take them to the nurse. If you're like Mr. Fantastic, you could help your teacher try to find the spill and then make sure no one else takes a fall. A Human Torch type could try to make the person who fell laugh instead of having others laugh at them. And if you're stuck and don't know how to respond when something comes up, ask a teacher or another adult to see what you can do. Sometimes you might not be able to jump in, and that's okay. Just make sure that you tried. And that's what the Double F did when everyone thought that the world was ending. And another quick question you might be asking, can multiple people play the same role? And the answer, absolutely. If your class has 15 or 20 people, chances are you may have, say, 2 or 3 Reed Richards or even 5 Invisible Women, and that's okay. Because at the end of the day, people are going to respond to different situations. One person might be a leader in one situation, but then later on in the day, that other person who's a leader might be able to step up there. So don't feel like there's only room for 4 spots. Absolutely not. It just depends on the situation. The Fantastic Four is a great team because they know who they are and use their strengths to make their team better. And when you do the same, it can happen in your class as well. But did you know there's a way to find out if your class is close to reaching Fantastic Four squad goal status?
Hold on, wait.
It's gonna make that noise until you thread the belt.
Guys, we have to hurry this up.
3, 2, 1. Okay, we're ready.
There is a way to see if your class is reaching S-tier teamwork status. Psychology calls it the stages of group development. It breaks down how groups grow from beginning to end, and we'll use the Fab Four as an example. The first stage is forming, when the group begins their journey. For the Fantastic Four, it was when they entered space and were transformed by the cosmic rays. For you, it was the first day of school when you met your class, and some of you might still be in this stage. Second is storming, when the team comes up against conflict when trying to figure each other out. We don't see the Double F go through this step in the movie, but for them, it could have looked like them figuring out their own powers and adjusting to their new lives. In the classroom, it could look like 2 kids who have trouble getting along, or 2 entertainers who are competing to see who gets to tell the joke. Everyone gets to this point, and it's awkward and at times annoying. But if everyone stays locked in, you'll push through it. And once you get past it, you'll get to the norming stage, where everyone understands their role and things start feeling normal. The Fantastic Four hit this stage when they realized they were going to be a superhero team and knew how to handle different situations as they came up. In your situation, most classes get to this stage by the end of the first 9 weeks, when everybody knows the rules and understands each other enough to get along. Fourth is performing, where the team is crushing it at what they do. First steps is the Big Four living in this stage. They were so great at what they did that it was second nature to them. And in the classroom, you know you're there when everyone's grades start going up. The vibes are good and everyone is learning. And lastly, there's a journey, when the group has to split up because they've done their thing. Though we never see the Blue Crew hit this stage, we see it in the last 10 minutes of Endgame. Tony makes his sacrifice, Cap goes back in time to live his life, and everyone else either retires or goes and does their own thing. And for you, your adjourning stage will be at the end of the year when it's time to go to the next grade and start the process all over again. And know that everything we talked about can be used in every situation, in every group. Your fam, sports team, Girl Scouts, whatever. Just know that this isn't a grade of how well your group is grouping, it's a ruler to see where you're at. And you might even go back and forth between phases, which is okay too. Maybe you got a new student or someone moves away. Life is gonna happen and your group will need time to adjust. And to the Mr. Fantastics out there, don't try to control it all, because you can't. But instead, focus on what you can control and go from there. Every classroom has the potential to be great, but with everything we've learned today, your class can make that jump from great to fantastic. Now it's your turn. How do you see your class as a family? Are you watching this with your class right now and want to rep your classroom, teacher, or school? Then go ham in the comments. Let's see who's part of the GG Nation. And know that I'm going to respond to everyone who does. And while you're there, go ahead and do the YouTube thing. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't to give this video the good old algorithm boost. And you know, maybe you're curious about how this group stuff works in a family. If you are, go check out this video on Encanto to find out which magical sister you are. See you there! Guidance Guy out.